Hello, this is the TradeSite US Stocks and Futures Market Preview for the week beginning Sunday the 15th of September 2024, ending Friday the 20th. So we just had our quarterly futures contract roll, dead day as expected because of it. And now we're heading into triple options expiration, which means that we should get our unraveling move either Wednesday or Thursday. We do have a Fed meeting this week, so that'll be on top of that. And then obviously next Friday the 20th, should be dead for the expiration. So just prepare yourself for that. That's how it goes. Here's the dollar index daily chart. Nothing here still. We're kind of mid-range for where we've been for the last year. Euro dollar, a little higher than mid-range, not the inverse of the dollar index anymore. It used to be, but it's a little bit better right now. Pound dollar, obviously closer to new highs. Pulled back to retest the last breakout point and bounced off of it. So it's positive for the pound. ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market and futures forum. Economy remains strong, almost back to new highs, getting there again. It's that time of year where things usually fall apart, or they can fall apart, right? September and October. September is the only month of the year that averages a negative return in the stock market. So we'll see what that means. Right now we're down a couple points, not too big of a deal since September 1st. And if we don't have a negative September, we're probably not going to have a negative October. And then here's how this always works, right? When you get past about November 15th, if we're up for the year, the stocks that are up for the year, nobody's going to want to sell them and lock in their tax gains, which means they'll go higher and it'll be a run till the end of the year to the upside. So let's see what happens. Here's the S&P cash. This is even higher than the futures. We're literally points away from new highs in the market of all time, like literally all time, and obviously up, huge for the year again. So it is what it is. NASDAQ 100, not quite at highs, but still, doing fairly well, closer to the highs of the year than the lows of the year. Obviously, the Russell 2000. This is important because as interest rates go down, which they're signaling that they will, then you've got the small cap stocks are going to do better because they can borrow money. And then newer stocks have to borrow money. They're going to do better off of that. Crude oil also, this is a two-way street. I always say this. When oil goes down, obviously it's good for prices at the pump. It's good for inflation finally. It's good for people driving around. But sometimes it signals weakness in the economy, meaning there's just not enough demand for oil. I think we could settle into the low 60s and probably still be fine. If we go much lower than that, I think there'll probably be an issue, but we'll see what happens. All right, so then we look at Bitcoin, sitting at 53,669. I think most of you know I don't care at all about cryptos, and this thing's been on the decline since back in March and down, and then we had a 13 sell signal right at the top, so our signals work on it, but I don't see it. I don't understand why anybody cares about this junk. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, almost near highs, nice cup formation. Going to have a 13 sell signal though, so just be aware of that. Matter of fact, let me see if I put projection mode. No, we don't have it yet, but we could get one soon, or it could recycle. Either way, it's still at highs, and that means bonds up, rates down, and this is kind of like the lowest rates we've seen in a while. The VIX closes at 1656. The advanced decline ratio on the New York, positive, strong on Friday, flat on Thursday, positive on Wednesday, negative on Tuesday, flat on Monday. So it was not a very exciting week from that perspective. The trend closes the week at 0.74, puts the 10-day moving average way up at 1.17 because of a couple of higher closes, and so that's way above the blue line. That's the orange line is the 10-day moving average. That's what we follow. You need to close under the blue line, which is 0.85, to get a sell signal on the market. We're not even close. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So there's no sell signal on the market probably for the next 10 weeks, which, add that up to an election year, and we'll see what happens. ES front month futures contract, the 10-minute charts, gapped up on Monday, went both ways a little bit, closed a little bit higher, gapped up on Tuesday, filled the gap, closed a little bit higher. Wednesday was post-debate and 9/11, sold off sharply. That filled the gap, by the way, from the prior Friday's close, right? If you look at that, and then just rallied the heck out of it after there, and then Thursday up and Friday, as you would expect with futures contract roll, a little bit up, but basically just dead. I mean, couldn't have been a more dead day on Friday. Same thing on the NASDAQ. At 13 sell signal, we're still under that. Okay. NASDAQ volume, it's been ranging between 4.5 and 5.5 billion shares, basically, and that's fine. I mean, it's good volume. The volume doesn't really matter as much anymore because there's always great volume. Apple, here's Apple daily chart holding near the highs. Amazon has making its way back towards the highs. Meta still hanging near the highs. Google, this one's got a little bit of work to do. Goldman Sachs rallied after a negative day on Tuesday, which, by the way, took it back to almost to a static trend line, and then it bounced off of that. Netflix almost at highs. Tesla kind of more mid-range, but doing better than it's been doing, obviously. Nvidia, nothing much here at all to look at. Zoom rallied, pulled back quite a bit, and now trying to turn up again. And First Solar, we like to watch this one. It is what it is. So that's been the look of the market. I wouldn't say there's anything super special there to see in terms of the week ahead. Obviously, let's talk about the economic data. So on Monday, we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. China's on a bank holiday. Europe has their trade balance number coming out. On Tuesday, Canada's got their CPI and inflation numbers. We have our retail sales at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Capacity utilization, industrial production at 9:15. Business inventories at 10. NHB Housing Market Index at 10. It's fine. And then on Wednesday, so we got a 2-day Fed meeting, by the way, right? I said that already. So housing starts and building permits at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. And then the Fed announcement at 2. They are expecting at least a 1/4 point rate cut. If they go 1/2 point, it's interesting. Is that a positive because it's a bigger rate cut, or is it a negative because they feel like they're panicking? That's going to be the interesting point. My guess is they do a 1/4 point, but we'll see what happens. 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, 2:30 is the press conference, and they explain why they did what they did. So that's fine. Thursday, we've got the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims numbers, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, and current account at 8:30. Existing home sales and CB leading index at 10, natty gas at 10:30. And then there's no U.S. data on Friday at all. So whatever, that's it. We don't have any holidays for quite a while. I mean, there's a Veterans Day deal coming up in November, but October's pretty clear. I don't think we have any bank holidays to worry. Holidays to worry about at all until we get into November. So I mean, we already had Labor Day, so it's basically just. There will be a bank day, but it's not the stock market day. And then we've got the Thanksgiving stuff. So, I mean, we have 2 months straight. This is usually the better time of year for trading. Things tend to pick up. We'll see what we get. And then we'll have the Thanksgiving holiday and the Christmas week, which is always a bust. Christmas this year is on a Wednesday, which is really awkward. Puts Christmas Eve on a Tuesday. So we'll see what we get. Charts as usual brought to you by NinjaTrader. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week. We'll see you in the Discord lab.